Welcome to another episode of Collaborative Canvas by Ankesh Saxena. And this is your host, Ankesh Saxena, where we will be delving into the critical issues and trends shaping the global business landscape. Today, we are exploring a topic that impacts organizations worldwide, navigating through the complexities of GDPR and CCPA and the best practices by the global organizations for global compliances. Today, our guest is an expert from Highbeam Global, and her name is Tanu Gautam. She's AVP at HBG, a company renowned for its meticulous approach for data privacy and security. We will be discussing how Highbeam Global manages sensitive client information, ensure compliance with industry-specific regulations, and navigates the intricacies of international data transfer law. Additionally, we will explore the internal safeguard HBG has in place to restrict data access and the importance of regular audits in maintaining robust data handling practice. So let's dive into right. Hi, Tanu. How are you?
Hi, Ankesh. I'm good. How are you?
It's an immense pleasure to actually, talk about data privacy. Even in one of my last episode, I did it for the India laws. And this time, I learned from the company that you guys do GDPR very thoroughly, and you believe in, the data privacy, and which is why the clients have been known for you. So I thought, how about, running a podcast into as to how HBG is doing it, and I got a couple of questions for you. So shall we begin with that?
Yeah, sure. We should begin.
All right. So the first question, Tanu, I have for you is that you have been managing this whole operations for a while now. I think it's more than 13 years, and you have been very close to most of those clients when it comes to their data privacy. And within market research, we know how privacy is important, how quality is important. So how does HBG handles that sensitive information provided by the client?
So, yes, you correctly said that, handling sensitive information is a critical aspect of any market research firm. So, we also adhere to strict protocols and best practices to ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and security of our clients' data. So, there are some common practices, that we follow and are employed by us to manage sensitive information, which includes, specifically implementing role-based access controls to ensure that only authorized people can access sensitive information, uh, removing and masking personal identifiers from data sets to protect individual identities while still allowing data analysis, collecting only the required or only the necessary information for the research objective, and avoiding the storage of excess sensitive information. Another one to add is adhering to data protection regulations and standards such as GDPR and those applicable as per specific countries that we are targeting. In addition to that, ensuring all employees, contractors, and third-party partners sign confidentiality and non-disclosure agreements to legally bind them to protect sensitive information, and clearly communicating with the clients about how their data will be handled, the security measures in place, and their rights concerning their data and how they can access those rights.
I'm sure it takes length and breadth of actually managing the data, because you guys don't do just one or two odd projects. There are tons of things in different industries altogether, and that's clear communication is definitely an evident piece. How does HBG ensure that the compliance are happening within the industry specific regulations?
So, first of all, keeping ourselves up to date with the latest changes on any compliance regulatory is the most important thing. We have a legal and compliance team at our, locally, that sits in our office, who takes care of, any compliance breach, if there are any, and taking immediate actions about it. And they keep themselves up to the date with the latest trends and updates on the data compliance policy. They also run frequent audits, like checking all the information that goes out in a written on an oral format to make sure that, HBG is adhering to these compliance policies and nothing is communicated to anyone outside HBG that is not in time and not in lines with the compliance policies, and maintaining proper records for everything and present those records where and when required is also an important aspect of it.
So does your team do the audits internally?
Yes, we do audits internally, and at times when required, we do audits, externally also. We hire a third party to run those audits.
So, in terms of the compliance that you guys do internally or externally, and with respect to the international data law transfer, what basic measures? I mean, I know you mentioned a couple of them, but what are other basic measures when it comes to international data transfer laws?
So, as we all know, there are several risks associated with international data transfer, including non-compliance with data protection laws, potential data breaches, and unauthorized access. So, thus at HBG, we take a proactive approach in managing international data transfers by conducting a thorough risk assessment, implementing appropriate security measures such as encryption and access controls, and regularly monitoring and auditing data transfers to ensure compliance with relevant laws and regulations. Um, I think it is also essential for businesses to be transparent with data subjects about how their personal data is being used, transferred, and stored by providing them, individual privacy notices and these policies to read through. We also make sure that the data obtained from the data subjects and respondents is accessible only to few authorized people and is deleted from our systems after its use.
Okay, so basically, there are limitations to access the data by external internal agencies, and you decide who to get through it, or the client is also involved into it. Basically, are there any limitations on who can use it?
Yes, there are definitely limitations on who can use it. It is only accessible to people who actually require to use it. I mean, not everyone should have access to it, and they're not even required to have access to it. So, like I mentioned, the role-based access control is the most important thing, and specifying the access required to each role based on their job responsibility. This is something that we implement day in and day out. A temporary access is definitely provided to employees and revoked post completion of their work.
So, I think this entire regulation mechanism or the measures or the conditions that you apply as terms and conditions for the client, it is not just only to the B2B, because you guys do B2C as well. So it is across.
Right.
Okay.
It's across. But
Nice.
it's more focused on B2B because compliance policies are strict there. I mean, from both the sides. For B2C, it's more of just information about respondent details that we have to mask.
Okay. Okay. I think those were a few questions, because when it comes to privacy, when it comes to GDPR, we are very much conducive about the fact that nothing gets leaked out. And within, as you mentioned, it's when it comes to B2C, B2C is all about personal data information. But when it's come to
Right.
B2B, it's lot sensitive information with respect to the economy that you're working on, which is why it is more industry specific. I think
Right.
those were a few of my questions. Thank you so much, Tanu. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the collaborative canvas with Ankesh Saxena, where we discuss the privacy law. And if you have any questions further where you wanted to detail out how and further we or Highbeam Global does it, I will leave the details of Tanu Gautam at the end of the video, and you can push your comments there on the YouTube, or you can push your comments onto her ID at LinkedIn. You will have all the details about Tanu in this video. In case you still have anything for me, feel free to nudge me on LinkedIn or YouTube or Twitter, wherever you want. I have all my details there as well. Thank you so much, Tanu, and thank you so much, audience, for hearing this out. Stay blessed and stay put.
Thank you, Ankesh. Thanks for your time.